Buffs Nation, what's going on? Hopefully, you guys have had a wonderful weekend. I'm pumped to be back here. Hopefully, the audio issues have been resolved. So, y'all just let me know. But hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Went ahead and replaced a cord here to my mic, which I think was the issue. But, anyways, got a lot to celebrate today. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Antoine Hill. We're going to be talking a little bit more about the recruiting. We'll dive in to Antoine Hill a little bit deeper than I did with Bird's Eye View on Friday. So excited to have another video on him. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like. Let me know who's watching, where you're watching from. Appreciate the love, Shiny King. But man, I got to say, after this weekend, big news. And this is a huge deal that we're able to secure one of the top quarterbacks in the class of 2025 after having our worst blown lead in program history. If that isn't the prime effect, then, I don't know what is. I am thrilled to have Antoine Hill here. And the more that I've done looking into him over the weekend, watching some of the videos that he's put out, listening to some of the interviews that he's done, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to have him come in here as a Buff. And I think he's a fantastic culture fit for what Coach Prime and the rest of the staff are building here at CU. And I've been talking about this for a little while. I did want to go ahead and celebrate this with making my first donation to the NIL Collective. That is the 5430 Foundation. Rick George talked about this collective on an interview with Adam Munster Tiger and Buff Stampede last Tuesday, said that this is the football-centric NIL collective for CU, one of the main ones. You're able to donate to it. So I will show you guys here really quick that in honor of the three 2025 commits that we have right now, that is being Antoine Hill Jr., Winston Watkins Jr., wide receiver, and then Jemaurice Gata Wilder, running back out of Venice, Florida. I have decided to give a $75 donation. I'll show you guys here really quick. Hopefully this whole thing pops up. But here we go. Here we go right here, $75, $25 for each commitment that we have right now. And this is like a donation to a charitable entity or whatever, a 501c3. So before we dive in, going into looking at Antoine Hill's stats, taking a look at some of his midway point junior year highlights, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys just a little bit about the website in case y'all end up wanting to make a donation as well. So I'll go ahead here. Let me pull this up. Of course, now I lost I lost the website. I did post about it. There's a link to it in my description as well. But it's pretty cool how it's all set up. So give me 1 second. I think we're good here. Yeah. So you guys can go around in this in more detail if you're wanting, but 100% of your donation goes to support student athletes, and where the NIL comes in is that in exchange for, receiving this NIL from this collective, athletes will then partner in promoting these charities. So the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Denver, Buffs for Life, they talk a lot about mental illness and getting the help that you need mentally. Humane Society, A Precious Child, and those are the main ones. But this is a 501c3, so if you are needing to make donations for whether that's your business or personally for tax write-offs, this is eligible for that. Just consult what they're saying is consult your tax person on that. But that's always nice. Just like you give to a church or another charity or something like that, this carries the same status as that, which which then can be deducted off of your taxes. So I have made a one-time donation of $75. I'll be donating more as the year goes on as well, but you can set up not only one-time donations, but I think they are just about to roll out recurring donations as well. So this is important for big-time donors. They will look to see, is there that grassroots support for the program? And I want to put my money where my mouth is, talking about recruiting, talking about how important this NIL stuff is for ensuring that we're continuing to get some of the best players in the country and one in Colorado to be in the running for so many of these players, especially when they're putting their lives on the line. This is different than some other sports. These athletes are putting their brain, their long-term health on the line. I mean, we saw it happen with Damar Hamlin. You never know when something is going to happen. And in a sport this physical, these athletes deserve to be compensated for everything that they're doing, and for everybody that's benefiting off of them playing on the field. They definitely deserve a cut, if not a much larger cut than what they have right now. So it all starts here. So all that to say, man, I am pumped about this. Stank Mouth Crypto Charlie. I love that name. South Carolina in the house. Love to hear that. Eric Morris, good to see you. Feel like I'm always interacting with you on Twitter. Antoine Hill, commitment this early is huge. Absolutely. And Stank Mouth coming in, saying he's putting his money where his mouth is too. I donate monthly. I love to hear that. I love to hear that. So anytime we get another recruit, you guys can expect another $25 donation to be put there in celebration, along with other donations here from the YouTube channel throughout the months ahead. So let's go ahead and dive into Antoine Hill Jr. I mean, this guy's stats are freaking insane. So we're going to take a look at that. Then we'll dive into some of his film. But let's go ahead and go here to Max Preps. I mean, this is just insane right now. Okay, so we look at his career stats. They're right here. Thrown for over 6,400 yards, 71 passing touchdowns, and only 12 interceptions. That's essentially just a shade under a 6-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, which is insane. And you can see here, freshman through his varsity year so far. Of course, he'll probably eclipse that 13-game mark this year as well. But, 70% completion percentage last year. Right now is at 68 and averaging over 13 yards per attempt and well over 200 yards a game. So that's wonderful. And yeah, I saw this in one of the highlight videos I was watching that he put out. That was like a day in the life of Antoine Hill. And yeah, this 98-yard touchdown, man, was really impressive. But nonetheless, number 6 quarterback right now, according to 24/7. I would imagine he's going to get bumped up to a 5-star at some point. But at the end of the day, all that matters is the David Tuck's Buffs recruiting ranking. And he's definitely a 5-star in my mind. He definitely can run it. But what you'll see on film, again, is that he doesn't look to run first, which is something that I think is wonderful because a lot of times, coaches, you got to coach that out of these young players that are, big time. They're just more athletic than everybody on the field, But right now, I guess if you include the sack yardage, it's hard to get an idea of what he's done. But 2 rushing touchdowns, okay, compared to 71 passing. He's definitely a pass-first player, which is great. And overall, I think he does a pretty good job at taking care of the ball. Again, lost 5 fumbles throughout his career, thrown 6 interceptions. No, 12 interceptions. Sorry, but still, that's very impressive. And you'll see here on film that he just, his arm is insane. His scrambling ability is insane. And this is just a huge deal moving forward because the fact that he's in Georgia as well, it's going to help us get other Georgia players. And that we need some of those Georgia offensive and defensive linemen. That is for darn sure, right? And guys want to go play with star quarterbacks. I mean, the NCAA football game is even building this sort of factor into recruiting in the new dynasty mode that's coming out for next year's game. You know, how much influence does a top recruit have on attracting other recruits to commit to that same school? It's pretty cool. So the fact that they're building this sort of factor into a video game shows you how important this stuff is in real life. It's exponentially more important. All right, let's go ahead and turn on the tape. But want to say hi to Mike. Oh, from South Padre. Man, I love that you're feeling the prime effect. I love it, man. Yeah, a lot of big fans in Texas, not only of this channel, but I would assume that probably Texas and Florida are the biggest fan bases right now for CU and Coach Prime. Which is so funny because you know the DFW area. The DFW area has more population than most states, in which Colorado is included for that. So I love to see that the prime effect is far reaching in Texas and demand above. Blessings to you as always. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and have some fun with this. Give me 1 second to share my screen. So this highlight tape was posted 5 days ago. I didn't see it on Friday. I just must have missed it, but it doesn't say if this is his junior year. I would assume because it's posted from, just 5 days ago that it is. So let's take a look again. 6'5" on his max preps, he has himself weighing as 220 pounds. I would imagine by the time, that's like Shador's weight right now, I'd imagine. And I imagine that by the time he gets here in Boulder, he's going to be 230 plus with a 6'5" frame, which is absolutely insane. All right. So I'll try and break some of this down and then get to some of your comments. Again, I want you guys to see his poise in the pocket, stepping up. So often young players will just try and escape and maybe just, run up when pressure is there. Seeing him just step up, keep his eyes downfield, understand that there's no safety help up top. Bam. Taking the hit. I mean, he's okay with that. It's more 11 personnel sets. Again, keeping his eyes downfield. And his deep ball accuracy is it's wonderful. Here's one of his few rushing touchdowns. Let's go back and take another look at that. Come on now. Oh my God. As you can see, makes the right read here on the read option with the linebacker playing the running back. It shows, the fact that you can see him running like that and he's not like a run first quarterback, that's very impressive. Similar to Bryce Underwood. They have incredible athleticism more than anybody else on the field. But the fact that they're both pass first players, it shows you, why they're so highly recruited. And showing his ability to get outside the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, just easy money. It was a really well drawn up play, well executed. And look at the ball placement on that one. Good Lord. And just look again how poised he is in the pocket. He doesn't have happy feet or anything like that, overly anxious feet, nothing like that. He just plants and throws a dime. Just right there where only the wide receiver could get it. More deep ball accuracy. And this is just a great throw because, again, so often what can happen with inexperienced players or just players that just aren't as good, right? At the quarterback position, you can see, they'll see this blitzer coming and then they'll freak out and scramble or something like that. Or they'll get their pass batted down. But he stands firm, again, poise in the pocket, and just puts that thing on a line. Takes it to the house. Yeah, this was the 98-yard touchdown. They were cheering overrated, and then he went and threw a 98-yard touchdown. You can see doing a lot off the play action and shotgun, and look how he layers this ball over the cornerback. Well, he had inside leverage, but that's just too good of a throw, man. That's impressive stuff. And I love this. This is manufactured really well, this play design. That gets the ball out of his hands really quickly and throws that screen in the way in which it leads the running back to run forward, doesn't kill his momentum. I would be interested to know what his stats off the play action are, but you can see like every time, man, he's throwing here out play action, man, it's money. And obviously that's something that Coach Prime and Sean Lewis, the rest of the offensive staff, love to see because Shador is most successful playing off this play action too. I like this. We talked a little bit about the advantages that running some pistol sets would give this Buffalo's offense. Cool to see that his offense is running it right now. And man, just a beautiful play action fake. I mean, I know that these are his highlights, but again, looking at that fake, he had me fooled. He had me fooled, definitely. I mean, just beautiful. Hides the ball right there, has his arm hanging out right there. So again, everybody's thinking that he's got the ball, and then just wonderful placement there in the red zone. Again, where only that wide receiver can get it. His ball placement is something that really sticks out to me. And man, this is really nice play design again. I really like this because they give it this look like it's a quarterback sneak. They allow this H back or tight end to just run this little seam up the middle. Linebackers just playing the run. Easy. And in some of the interviews that I listened to him with, I mean, he talked about how much he loves to watch film. Um, that is great, and seeing some of the videos kind of behind the scenes of just his day to day life. It seems like he comes from a wonderful family. It seems like he comes from a very hospitable family where they have other players and friends and family over, all the time. So again, I mean, just easy. And his legs are really going to come in handy at the college level as well. Again, standing in the pocket and just delivering a dime when he knows that defensive lineman is right there. But I think he seems to have just a great head on his shoulders. Seems very mature for his age. He's got big time swagger to him, which I love as well. When you combine those the talent with the work, the study habits, all of that with the confidence, the swagger. I mean, that's when you get legendary greatness, right? And when I'm starting to think of Antoine Hill, taking over for Shador, I think he's a guy that could start, his freshman year, no doubt about it. Look how he fluttered, layered in that nice little touch pass to take that, to make that screen play a big time game. But, um, players, they're going to come here because they know that they're going to go from one great quarterback to the next. There's, and Antoine Hill, theoretically, he could break all Shador's records that I think Shador is going to set being here at CU, like the career records and all that. Because theoretically, he could have 3 years of playing, 4 years of playing. We're talking about possibly looking at a guy that could reset the record books for CU. Now, I know that's getting ahead of myself because it's a year and a half away from signing day, but I don't care, man. Let's talk about the potential. Oh, man, why am I getting some buffering? Oh, no. All right, well, as this is loading, I'll stop in and say hi to some of y'all's comments. Let's see what we got. The man above. That's right. This kid can definitely play. What's up, Sanford? Jennifer, what's going on? Eric Morris with the Hill commitment. Do you think we are still in contention for Bryce Underwood? My gut says probably not, but I don't know. I know that when we were talking with Bird on Friday, he's like, "I hope that we're still in it. I'm hoping that we still commit to it." And again, man, Bryce Underwood, 5-star plus player rated right now, but uh, I don't know, man. Like when I look at Hill's tape now compared to like Bryce Underwood's tape, doesn't really look too much different. And I think when people were talking in the chat about Hill's ceiling possibly being higher, sure, he's definitely a bigger athlete, just a little bit, than Bryce Underwood. But I would imagine that Bryce is going to go somewhere where, like, no doubt, it's clear that he's the heir apparent. Um, Not to say that I mean, man, I would love it if both of these guys came here and just fought, for that starting quarterback position. But I would just imagine that he's probably going to LSU or Michigan. My gut says LSU right now with how with just what's happening with Michigan. We'll see if Jim Harbaugh's still there. I don't know. Anthony tuning in from Connecticut. I love that. Oh yeah, no doubt on the pass protection. Man, I'm not even worried about that. That's gonna, we knew that that wasn't an overnight fix. We can go back and talk about or look at my videos from 6 months ago. That just wasn't going to be an area figured out in 1 year. It's totally going to get better. Omega Red, good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Underwood is a great QB, but it would not surprise me one bit if this guy turns into the best quarterback in the class. He has the size, the athleticism, the skills, and the mental, emotional makeup. Yes. And looking at, again, I haven't listened to any interviews with Bryce Underwood or like watched if he's done like any of these day in the life of Bryce Underwoods or anything like that. Haven't seen that. But from what I've watched with Antoine Hill, I mean, he just like some of the things that he said he felt like are his strengths. One of the things he talked about right up there was his leadership. It's like, I feel like I'm a great leader. And it's clear that he puts in the work outside of practice, which is important. So I think he's a great fit for this program. And yeah, I mean, he's 6'5" right now. He could still have another growth spurt. We could be talking about a 6'7" player coming in, I mean, which is just insane. So we'll just have to see. What matters is we have this guy committed with elite talent coming in. There are very few of those, and we have one. Absolutely. Yeah, I am thrilled. He's already probably a top commit. Well, if he ends up coming here, which I'm sure he will, as long as this thing continues to roll, um, he would be a top 10 recruit, high school recruit in Colorado's history. I love that. Yes, he is very talented, Miss Pleasantly Plump. Thank you for tuning in. Demand above, talking about this as well. This kid has amazing pocket presence too. Even in the face of a pass rush, he keeps his eyes downfield and doesn't panic. Don't get caught up in rankings. This may be the best in the class. Yeah, just like Shador, man. He wasn't a 5-star player. He was a 3 or 4 star, depending on what you looked at, recruiting wise with him coming out of high school. And the biggest thing is looking at what is on tape, looking at the person, looking at the character. And I think, we need somebody in that Shador mold in terms of mental makeup to follow in his steps. And I think that Antoine Hill could definitely be that guy. He's got all those qualities. And again, seems like he comes from a wonderful family that really has done a wonderful job raising him and helping mold him and guide him into the young man that he is now. So I can't wait to see how the rest of his high school career progresses, but he definitely has that star makeup of swagger, of commitment, of athleticism, intelligence, poise. The fact that he is this poised in the pocket at such a young age, I mean, he's gonna be ice cool, ice cold in the clutch, right? And again, with him being in Georgia, this is going to help us get those big guys in the South, in Georgia, in Florida, Louisiana, those big line players, man, because they know this guy. They play this guy. They play with this guy. I know Michigan puts out a handful of wonderful college football players, but if you're talking about needing your quarterback to really network and whatnot, I think Antoine Hill being in the South as well, being in Georgia, is definitely just an extra plus in terms of getting some more of those players from the South committed here. So hopefully the rest of my video has loaded and we can go back to watching some of this. I wish this was HD, y'all, but that's just not what we're getting right now with Huddle Tape. Nice little pump fake. You had everybody fooled on that one. And look at that. Has two guys coming to him, but takes the time to plant his feet, just like the man above was saying. Easy. Again, I mean, he's throwing these balls in the flat just perfectly, not too hard, leads the receiver really well. And that all comes from, in my opinion, the calmness that he has in the pocket with his footwork. I love it. Even in the face of a 3-man pass rush, is able to just deliver a dime on the run. Again, calm feet. Great block right there by the other wide receiver. Another one, again, with the calm feet, the poise. He's able to deliver these screenplays right on the money. And I mean, good lord. Oh man. You're telling me this guy couldn't be money at Colorado? I mean, even with the line we got right now, I mean, 1, 2, steps up, 3, gets hit, delivers a wonderful touchdown throw. Look at the score here. I mean, 42-6. Steps up. I mean, when you give him time, man, just on the money. Leads the receiver in a wonderful way where he's able to take it to the house. Again, more play action. Knows where he knows where he's going with the ball every single time. He doesn't take a lot of time back there before he knows what he's doing, you know. But there, he had all day to throw. And man, I'm just real impressed by just his ability to stand firm, man. Even if there's no rush or whatever, like he doesn't get happy feet. Is that a red penalty flag? Goodness. All right, we got 30 seconds left of this highlight tape. Thanks for sticking with me. Yeah, here's his running a bit. Oh my god. Lowers the shoulder. So it's great that we got a quarterback that can do it, on the run. But when you got arm talent like this, he definitely doesn't shortchange himself or anything like that. I love that he's a run first player or a pass first player, rather. So there we have it. Antoine Hill, a second look from my Friday video. We'll go here for just a little bit longer, everybody. But yeah, let me know if you got any questions or anything like that. Really thrilled about Antoine Hill. Oh, and want to give a shout out to Martez from Yo Martez. Of course, use that code SCOBUS for 10% off your order. Links in the description. I've been seeing some people come through with that, and I greatly appreciate it. It's another way in which you can help the channel, and then also help a good friend of mine, Martez, with his business he's got going on. It's possible he still grows. I went from 5'11" to 6'5" from 17 to 23. That's like a Dennis Rodman growth spurt to man above. That is insane. Fun fact, if you didn't know this, Dennis Rodman didn't start playing basketball until he graduated high school. Eric Morris had to get the Shador succession plan in place. Have no doubt Shador's coming back for his senior season because his dad is there. Yes. Yes. Why do you want to cut something like that short? I think it's super cool. Wisconsin, Nebraska, Texas, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Florida, Ohio, Iowa, and even Colorado puts out some big boys. Yes. Another guy that I'm really hoping we can flip is our number one player here in the state in the class of 2024, Gage Ginther, offensive tackle. Seems like we might have our eyes set a little higher with Jordan Seaton right now from IMG. I'm trying to remember if Tank has an extra year of eligibility, but I would imagine that Jordan Seaton, possibly could be one of those rare true freshmen that could come in here and start at the tackle position next year. With Antoine Hill committed, no Bryce Hall. Who is Bryce Hall? Let me go see here. Oh, one of Brandon Davis Swain's. No, he's already graduated. And then there's a Bryce Hall that plays for the New York Jets. But yeah. Oh, Bryce Young. Oh, Bryce Underwood. Probably talking about Bryce Underwood. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. But anything's possible, man. I've never really followed recruiting too closely until now with Prime because it wasn't very exciting, from a CU perspective for the most part. I mean, we kind of bring in 3-star guys and an occasional 4-star, which was amazing, but never had our beat on a lot of these top guys. So I'm not really sure how this quarterback stuff normally happens, but I know that there are programs like Ohio State or Alabama or Texas, that have brought in 4 or 5 stars, like a guy every year or whatever. So maybe that still happens, on our end. That would be really cool. But I would imagine that, this guy is going to be the main quarterback commitment, for the next few years. And I imagine we'll kind of go with like an every 2-year cadence or something like that, bringing in a top guy. Seems like that's what the big programs do, right? Demand above saying, other than linemen, I would really love Riley Pettyjohn. He's from McKinney, Texas. I'm very familiar with McKinney, Texas, having lived in West Texas. Let me look up this guy. Riley, have we had him on a visit yet? Petty John 24/7. See what this guy, linebacker. Ooh, I'm gonna be following him for sure. Darren Jennings and Danny O'Neal is definitely having a wonderful senior year as well. And don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm overlooking Danny O'Neal, but just me, I definitely get excited about a guy who's a junior right now that's 6'5", 220 pounds, that has a 71-12 touchdown interception ratio. Um, I think Danny O'Neal could definitely develop into a good player, but the floor that Antoine Hill is starting at right now is something that is uncommon. All right, Riley Pettijohn, 6'2", 205, McKinney, Texas linebacker. Oh, goodness. 37 overall in the composite, 98 rating. Good Lord. Number 5 linebacker, number 7 player in Texas. And that's great that we've offered him. I would imagine every school in the NCAA has offered him as well. So hopefully we can bring him out here for a visit. I mean, that would be wonderful. His dad played at Syracuse. Okay. But yeah, let's take a look at Colorado 24/7. Let's just take a look and remind ourselves of kind of where we're at right now. We'll start with the 25 class again. Number 12 overall, Antoine Hill, freaking killing it, 6'5", 215. Winston Watkins out of Naples, again, 4-star, 5-star, depending on which recruiting site you're looking at. And Gaeta Wilder, who I really like. I really like that running back. All right, let's take a look right now at where we're at for the 24 class. We have moved up from like ranking 78th or whatever. And everything in this class is really coming together. Again, I would expect it to be probably between 15 to 17 or so freshmen, still being another transfer portal heavy, bringing another 20, 25 guys in the transfer portal as well. Really filling out every hole that we have left with a bunch of veterans. But Aaron Butler, he's going to play wide receiver. He's going to be here in January. And really, I think all these guys, they're on track to be here in January, which is huge. Brandon Davis Swain, again, monster defensive lineman, edge player from West Bloomfield. I think we're recruiting one of his classmates as well, or teammates. Then some other guys from Bryce Underwood's high school as well we have offered. I can't remember their names right now. Omar White, this is a huge deal. He was a 4-star previously, not playing this year, working out his legal issues, getting his grades right to get here in January. So love that. This guy is a big time beast. 6'3", 307. This man's not even in college yet. Like, he is a true example of, like, this guy is way better than his ranking. His teammate, Eric Brantley, more of an edge guy, 6'2", 250. He's going to be here. And Valdosta, if you aren't familiar with Valdosta, one of the top high schools in Georgia to go play football. They had do you remember that MTV show 2 Days from Hoover High School? I believe that high school coach that was there during that time, he coached at Valdosta for a while. I don't know if he's still there at Valdosta. You'll have to let me know. He might have gotten fired. So Carl Lewis, again, one of the teammates of Charles Lester III, wide receiver here, was a 4-star, committed to Colorado Prime, drops to a 3-star. That's just how it is right now. But really speedy guy. This guy could be like a Jimmy Horn replacement eventually for us. Dude's got speed. Danny O'Neill, 6-foot quarterback, 185. We can check out his stats here in just a minute before I wrap things up. Montre Bradford from Statesboro, Georgia. I believe the cousin of Cam McHale, who can play both ways, wide receiver or DB. But this guy, 6'5", 237. He'll profile as an edge guy. I think there was one recruiting site that accidentally said he was like 298 pounds or something like that. I think that's been corrected. He's an edge guy. 88 overall. Talon Chandler, this is a guy that could possibly come in here and start as a true freshman. We'll just have to see. But they're going to have him playing, I think, primarily center here, 6'3.5". Should be 300 pounds by the time he's here. And Michael Welsh, love this running back. He's going to be solid. A little bit of everything. He's got some serious size to him. So more around that Alt McCaskill size. But 5'9", 210 pounds, considerably bigger than like our starting running back right now, Anthony Hankerson. So all that's looking great. Let's go ahead and look up Danny O'Neill stats, max preps. Yeah, over at Cathedral High School in Indianapolis, 6'1", 190. And right now seems to be having a pretty decent year. Where are we at right now? So 9 games played, completion percentage 61%. Okay, 1,700 yards, 27 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions. You'll love to see that, and a really high quarterback rating, 113 essentially. And we've seen him use his legs quite a bit this year, more so than last year. This is something that I've seen people talk about on Twitter. He's got 613 yards, a 7.7 average. Love to see that, and 8 touchdowns. So goodness. So yeah, it seems like he should break his career records for touchdowns passing. But overall, he's got 94 passing touchdowns with 27 rushing touchdowns throughout his varsity career. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. So, again, some of these guys, man, once they get to college, they take their game to another level. And I wouldn't shortchange Danny O'Neill on that, with that at all. But I am overwhelmingly excited, not to shade Danny O'Neill or anything like that. But again, when you got a guy that's, this is kind of typical size you'll see from a lot of quarterbacks coming in here, 6'1", maybe not the most athletic guy, but, can have some wheels. And, but we're talking about a guy with Antoine Hill that definitely has an elite ceiling. That is for sure. And we'll have to see how he comes in and does. With him being here in January, I would not be surprised if he, if he were to be that backup to Shador next year. Would not be surprised one bit if he beats out guys like Casey Wiseman and Ryan Staub, Gavin Cole, all that. I think he's a talented guy. I don't think any of these guys that we're recruiting at the quarterback position aren't talented. But Antoine Hill, man, Antoine Hill, he's a game changer. That's for sure. So, Colorado is officially in his final 12. Oh, are we talking about Riley Pettyjohn? I love to hear that. So that's wonderful. Hopefully, we can get him on campus here soon. I'm wondering if there's truth to this, but there are some rumors that Sean Lewis would be leaving as Colorado OC and Byron Leftwich would be the new Colorado OC. Thoughts of Leftwich, Colorado OC? I feel like that's a downgrade if I'm just saying, off the top of my mind. I mean, I think Byron Leftwich is a decent and a good offensive coordinator. But, I don't know. I wonder how Sean Lewis would have done, without Tom Brady in Tampa. But I think I don't like that move right now because I think continuity is incredibly important with building a program. And that's why I want to see the staff here next year. I want to see the coordinator stay. Everybody have another year in the system. Everybody continue to build on their knowledge. I wouldn't, in my opinion, having an offensive coordinator like that, or theoretically, it doesn't have to be Byron Leftwich. It can be somebody else that maybe is going to come in here and maybe is like a 5 or 10% better offensive coordinator, but then you're losing the continuity. Does Shador really benefit coming back for his senior year if he's going to learn another system? I don't really like that idea. I only like that idea if Sean Lewis leaves to take a head coaching job, but I think he would be better served staying because I think he would get, and we've talked about this, better job offers to better programs if we were to make a really nice run in the college football playoff next year in 2024, right? And yeah, at the end of the day, we're averaging like 36, 37 points a game right now. I say this every time I get on video, I feel like, or get on a live stream. It's like, yes, there are plenty of things to criticize with the offensive play calling. But when have you ever, as a fan, been totally satisfied with an offensive play caller? I haven't. I don't want to take this for granted. Yeah, Jenner Jen bringing up a great point. There is a huge difference with freshmen when you can get here in January. They can contribute a lot quicker. Absolutely, you're absolutely right about that. That's just how it is because then you're comfortable with college life by the time the season hits. You get some of those boring classes out of the way in the spring, yada yada yada. And you can just kind of focus a little bit more on football. You're already used to the routine, the grind, the preparation, the systems a little bit more. It's going to benefit this high school class of these guys coming in here for sure. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, unsure how I feel about changing up the OC right now. I just don't really see a point to it. It's going to get better the longer we have continuity. Kamante coming in here saying that's definitely not a downgrade. Sean Lewis hasn't won anything, and his system has never been top 25 until the beginning of the year. Leftwich has played the quarterback position, knows the OC and DC. That's totally fair. Yeah, it's clear that he knows Coach Prime and a lot of guys on here. You can use that same criteria for Byron Leftwich, I guess. We just haven't seen him as a coordinator since Tampa. And again, there are a lot of reasons why that offense looked terrible after Tom Brady left. But I do like Byron Leftwich a lot as a person. And I'm trying to think. did he go to like the Steelers or anything as like an assistant, or is he not working anywhere right now? Let me see. But then the other thing too is that it's one thing to be an offensive coordinator in the NFL. It's just the college game is just different. There are some coaches that are more suited for the NFL. There are some coaches that are more suited for college. Is Byron Leftwich more suited for college or NFL? I don't know. Let's see where he's at. All right. I don't think he's coaching anywhere right now. But I mean, I would be thrilled if Byron Leftwich were to come here via a vacancy, and I think that's more so what I'm trying to get at, Camonte. Not so like I'm talking about like he's won something, but he's a damn good offensive coordinator. Um, Again, we are putting up a ton of points, and I can say I can say that Sean Lewis is good without calling him a Hall of Fame coach. I'm not calling him a Hall of Fame coach. I'm not calling him a perfect coach, but he's a good coordinator. Um, and when you look at his track record, he's done some really great things that I love, which I feel like the offenses that he calls from year to year drastically change based on the personnel that he has. And I think that's a wonderful quality out of a coordinator, that he can call a game that is tailored to his offense. Not to say that there's not room for criticism. I've criticized the play calling. Um, I mean, more than enough on here. And, we've dissected the Stanford game and all this stuff. But I think what I'm more so getting at is I hear people saying that Sean Lewis needs to be fired. Why? This is the strongest position group, or this is the strongest phased group out of defense, special teams, and offense. And you're telling me, people are telling me in here every week that people want to get rid of the offensive coordinator when that's our strongest phase. Imagine how terrible that looks when you fire a coordinator. When at the end of the year, this offense is going to average probably somewhere between 35 and 42 points a game, and you're firing him after 1 year, putting up that's a bad look. It's a bad look for attracting talent. It's a bad look for recruits. That if you're putting up those sorts of numbers, you're just going to get the boot after 1 year. It's a terrible look for recruiting. Now, if Sean Lewis were to move on to his own head coaching gig, and Byron Leftwich has talked about at that point, I'm open to everything. I'm open to elevating Flea or Brett Bartoloni too. I think continuity is something that's going to serve this team really well. And again, I have more patience with the offense and defensive coordinators with the trenches not totally solidified right. And that's just it. The one thing on the coaching staff that I don't have patience for right now is the performance on special teams. I think that's clear that needs to change. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know what metrics they use to track it, but I would be surprised if, we don't have the worst ranked special teams unit in the whole country. That needs to change. So that's kind of how I feel about the whole situation. I when you're getting results, how can you not think a year two is going to look better? You know, Monte, man, I don't understand what you're saying. What's the proof of the Sean Lewis success? How about we turn on the tape just for a little bit? I mean, we've had fantastic offensive game plans. And a lot of like what has happened with this team, like the big criticism that I have for this team on offense for Sean Lewis was mainly how we just didn't run away with the Stanford game, in the second half. But a lot of the play calls, man, throughout most of the games opening up the first half, I thought that those were wonderful play calls. You just don't see the players execute them. And I don't think it's so cut and dry. But what has he done? Look at the results. Um, Shador Sanders is going to break every single season school record here at CU with the worst ranked offensive line in the Pac-12 right now. Yes. Does does he have a championship or anything at Kent State, or was he at Bowling Green before that? No. But it's clear, like, the guy knows how to coach offense. I'm not saying he's the next Bill Walsh or anything like that, but he's a good coach that hasn't done anything to warrant being fired. I think that's a totally extreme take. And I think we all just need to understand, again, this is year one of a process. Of a process. So, all you guys, Stanford, Camonte, Darren Jennings, Eric, the man above, Chris, everybody else that tuned in here earlier tonight, really appreciate your time. I'm going to go make myself some more dinner. Well, my first dinner, but it's a late dinner. So I appreciate you guys as always. And let's see, I will be back tomorrow with Colin from Life and Football. We'll have some story time going on. And I'll have some more shows this week. I got to figure that out. But I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Again, as a reminder, hit that like on the way out. If you want to make a donation to the 5430 Foundation, which is the football centric NIL collective associated with CU, links in my description to go there. Really appreciate all your guys' support. As always, I will see you tomorrow, and Go Buffs.